Namaskaram, Namaskaram, Namaskaram. The warmest of welcomes. It is our great honor and privilege to welcome the one with all the charm, the wit, the one and only, the dear Sadhguru here with us today. A very warm welcome to all those of us who have joined us online all across Nepal and all across the world on this historic and momentous event for all of us. Today is a very special day indeed for every Nepali. नेपालको छोराछोरीहरू हामी कति गर्व गर्छौं नेपाली हुनुमा हाम्रो नेपाल आमामा हाम्रो नेपाल आमा भनेको के हो नेपाल आमा भनेको त्यो धरती हो जुन हाम्रो खुट्टाको मुनि हुन्छ. When was the last time you thought about the soil that you stood on, that we live on? And when was the last time you thought I can do something to save soil as well? Well, we have here amongst us a man who for 2 months, in 2 months has completed his incredible 100-day, 30,000 kilometer journey across 27 countries and 3 continents to save soil for humanity, to save soil for each and every one of us, and to craft a conscious planet. His arduous journey touched more than 3.9 billion people right across the world. This incredible effort has created the world's largest people's movement, unprecedented in history. His journey his schedule was very, very tight, so he was not able to come here to us in Nepal. But guess what? He's here today, right here amongst us all. We would like to begin this special event with a performance from Project Samskriti. Project Samskriti, we're indeed very, very fortunate, is something that is envisioned by Sadhguru. And it offers classes and performances of Indian classical arts, including music, dance, and Kala Repattu, a traditional form of martial arts. These intricate arts have been employed for thousands of years as a spiritual process. And the artists today, it is not their hobby. They have been doing this from the age of 7. This is their passion, this is their life, and we are definitely most fortunate to experience it this evening in the presence of Sadhguru. So we are eager to behold the performance by Project Samskriti, which will begin with an offering by Srimati Radhe Jaggi. A classical, yes! Truly blessed we all are, a classical Bharatanatyam dancer. So let us welcome this amazing performance we're all going to experience with a video to start off with, and a loud round of applause. Here we go.
Project Samskriti is an endeavor to nurture and impart India's classical arts. Designed by Sadhguru, it offers programs to learn powerful chants, music, Bharatanatyam and Kalaripayattu, an ancient martial art form conducted by the rigorously trained students and alumni of Isha Samskriti. The art forms are imparted in their most profound form as possibilities for inner growth and transformation.
Project Samskriti is not today's idea. It's been in incubation for nearly 25 years. So this is an effort not to save the art form alone, but to bring up humanity to a higher level of existence within themselves.
Namaskaram. Namaskaram.
Mic number another.
One with a heart of fire, draped in the rivers and oceans, with hair of open sky and a body, the ground that we walk upon. Time is ticking away. To build our lives, our comforts, our luxuries, we have ignored her plea. Time is ticking away. It's time to reinvigorate and celebrate this mother who has birthed us, fed us, and one who will embrace us into her bosom in our death. O Mother, in celebration of your grandeur, in concern for your well-being, in love with all that you are, we dance in tune to your rhythm as we are just a part of you.
Takita taka dhimi takita taka dhimi takita taka dhimi takita taka dhimi takita ta kita dhinga dhinga taka dhimi takita dhinga ta kita dhin kita dhina kita dhinga dhinga taka dhimi takita taka dhimi ta kita dhinga takita dhin kita dhinga ta kita dhinga takita dhin kita dhinga taka dhimi takita ta kita dhin kita takita dhinga taka dhimi ta kita taka dhinga taka dhimi ta kita dhinga kita dhina kita dhinga ta kita dhinga taka dhimi ta kita dhinga ta kita takita taka dhimi ta kita taka dhimi takita dhinga ta kita dhinga ta kita dhinga taka dhimi ta kita taka dhinga ta kita dhinga ta kita takita dhinga taka dhimi takita dhinga taka dhimi takita dhinga taka dhimi takita dhinga taka dhimi dhina kita dhinga takita dhina kita ta kita dhinga takita dhina kita dhina kita dhinga ta kita takita dhinga taka dhimi takita dhinga ta kita taka dhimi takita dhinga ta kita taka dhimi taka dhimi keta ding takita dena keta ta keta ding takita dena takita ding takita ta keta takita taka devi takita keta dena keta ding taka devi takita ta keta taka devi
Beneath my feet, your soil. When you rise, you become a tree. Again, you fall as a leaf. Who are you? You come up as a crop. You give me life as food. Whether I am alive or dead, you are the only refuge. Who are you? You come as water. You come as milk. You come as honey. Who are you? If I eat, it is soil. If I breathe, it is soil. If I die, it is soil. Oh, my mother, who are you? Soil. In the root, there is a stalk. In the stalk, there is branch. In the branch, leaves, bud, flower and fruit, all rooted in soil. That is not our making. The soil, the very soul of all life, shall neither perish nor is created, but in a constant turnaround. A tree and a termite hill, the rough hide of an elephant and the fine silk of the spider, the beasts that you kill and the people that you love, all a recycle of soil, soil and soil.
Come on, let's show our appreciation. Let's have a round of applause for Srimati Radhe Jaggi and Project Samskriti. How rich is our culture of the subcontinent. At times it takes an event like this to remind us of our roots. And all roots grow best on healthy soil. But did you know our soil is dying? हामी नेपाल आमाको कुरा गर्छौं कृषि प्रधान देश भनेर भन्छौं तर किसानहरूले जति पसिना बगाए पनि माटो मरिसकेको छ भने केही पनि उब्जिदैन. Nothing will grow on dead soil. Did you know that globally 52% of agricultural soil is already degraded? 2 billion people are suffering from nutritional deficiencies. Across the world, farmers are in distress. नेपाल आमाले जति प्रोत्साहन गर्नु खोजे पनि उहाँको छोराछोरी जो किसानहरू हुनुहुन्छ हरेक वर्ष झन्झन गाह्रो भइरहेको छ किनभने झन्झन हाम्रो माटो अलि गरेर अस्वस्थ भइरहेको छ. And that is what Save Soil is all about. And that is what Sadhguru's global movement is all about. By 2045, we will have 40% less food in the world. 40% less food. Just think about that. But we can do something. We must do something. We must act now. We must save soil today. And Conscious Planet, Save Soil is a global movement launched by Sadhguru to address the soil crisis by bringing people together from across the world. Just like tonight, this evening, we are trying to build people together from right across Nepal, right here. The movement supports leaders of all nations to institute national changes and actions which highlight the science behind why our soil is on the verge of extinction. Just think about that. We think of species in extinction. What happens if there is soil extinction? There will be no species left. And the urgent need for us to all come together to save soil. We will also catch some glimpses of Sadhguru's journey and the impact that it has had globally. And the hope is, from this evening onwards, that impact will also happen right here in Nepal. Let's take a look at this video.
We are talking about climate change, carbon emissions, and global warming and various other aspects, but we are not addressing soil. Soil is the habitat upon which zillions of lives thrive. Once there is no richness in soil, then you have forsaken the planet in many ways. Every responsible scientist in the world and the UN agencies are clearly saying we have only 80 to 100 harvests left. That means approximately 45 to 50 years of agricultural soil left on the planet. By 2045, we will be producing 40% less food than what we are producing right now, and our populations will be 9.3 billion people. The food shortages that could manifest in the next 25 years, the consequences of that is unimaginable. Civil wars will unfold across the world once there is food shortage. What we are facing now is soil extinction. Why is soil becoming extinct? Where is it going away? What is happening to our soil? We must understand, if you add organic content to sand, sand will turn into soil. If you remove all organic content from the soil, soil will become sand. In normal agricultural soil, the minimum organic content should be between 3 to 6%. The most minimum is 3%. At least this minimum to keep the soil alive, to keep the soil as living soil is a must. Agricultural soils across the world, the depletion is so heavy, in most countries, more than 50% of the topsoil is already gone in the last 100 years. The nutrient levels have dropped significantly. The level of micronutrients you would get from your food in early 20th century to what you are getting from the same food now has dropped 90%. If you ate one orange in 1920s, what you got from it, now in 2020, if you have to get the same, you will have to eat 8 oranges. This is what we have done to our food.
Soil is the biggest ecosystem on the planet, and so few people know anything about it. 1 teaspoon of healthy soil probably contains more microbes than there are people on Earth.
The microbial life in the first 12 to 15 inches of topsoil is the basis of our existence. It is this magic beneath our feet which has produced the life that we are. This first 12 to 15 inches of soil is the basis of life for 87% of life on this planet, including you and me.
We have to begin to recognize that what we call our soil, Mother Earth, is a living organism.
Open soils, ripped open by ploughing, open to sunlight, is the basis of destruction of microbial life. So the focus should be on agriculture, the focus should be on seeing that land is under shade as much as possible, some kind of shade, grasses, herbs, bushes, trees. So it's extremely important that soil regeneration is enshrined in the policy of every government on the planet. We must change the narrative on the planet that soil is a wealth, a legacy we have received from previous generations, and we have to pass it on as living soil for future generations. We are in a cusp of time. If you do the right things now, in the next 15 to 25 years, we can significantly turn this situation around and regenerate the soil. But if we allow this to progress like this for another 30 to 40 years, After 40 years, if we attempt this, then it could take 150 to 200 years because that much loss of biodiversity would have happened. From 21st of March for 100 days, the whole world, every human being on the planet should talk soil. We must hear the word soil, save soil everywhere to see that the narrative on the planet changes towards the most vital aspect of our life, the soil. Each one of you should reach as many people as you can to make this happen. As a part of this, to activate support from the citizenry to assure the governments long-term investments will be appreciated. I'm 65 and I'm riding 30,000 kilometers, a lone motorcycle journey, 30,000 kilometers across 24 nations.
Sadhguru, thank you for what you're doing.
Dear Sadhguru, one of the world's voices and leaders on soil conservation.
وابدا بالنسبه لنا في رابطه العالم الاسلامي
As for the Muslim World League, we are completely ready to help you.
You've inspired me to think about soil very differently. I love what you say, that we're all part of the solution and we all have a role to play.
This is my appeal to every one of you, because I don't want this COP15 to end as one more convention with more paper and more paper. This must end with concrete action, and action in such a way that it's implementable. It is implementable and we will see a distinct change in the coming few years.
This is a perfect confluence of how we see things and the importance of the soil. Save the soil.
Our soil needs nourishment. Save soil. Let us make it happen.
सदगुरु जी ने यात्रा की, दुनिया को मिट्टी के प्रति स्नेह तो पैदा हुआ ही होगा, लेकिन भारत की मिट्टी की ताकत का भी परिचय मिला होगा।
I salute you, your energy and your dedication, and my full support of what is needed from the Palestinian side.
To honor the people of this country. Thank you.
Save soil.
Save our soil.
Save soil.
Sadhguru, save soil, my friend.
Save soil, let's make it happen.
Antigua and Barbuda is part of the Save Soil mission.
We commend you for what you're doing. That is why we are happy to sign the MOU.
The science and philosophy that backs the thought behind the movement is tremendous.
We welcome you in Hyderabad and please show us the right direction towards policy.
Save soil. Let's make it happen.
It is time to save the soil.
Save soil.
Save soil.
Save soil. Let's make it happen.
We know what we must do, so let's make it happen.
Let's make it happen.
Let's make it happen. Let's make this happen.
Let us make it happen.
Let's make it happen.
Let's make it happen.
Save soil. Let's make it happen.
Just 4 months ago, soil was not even in the conversation. For the first time, soil has come to the conversation. 193 nations have taken soil as a very serious thing right now. I beseech every one of you that you must keep the soil in conversation for the next few months till the policies are made in the world. Soil is not our property. It's a legacy that's come to us from previous generations, and we must pass it on as living soil for future generations.
We've all heard, where there's a will, there's a way. And today amongst us, there is somebody with a will like Mount Everest. I think we need to give a big round of applause for what we have seen. For Sadhguru's journey is less about him and more about humanity. And I'm so proud as a Nepali. एउटा नेपालको छोरा भा भएर हाम्रो सरकार पनि केही पछि छैन. सम्माननीय प्रधानमन्त्रीजीले COP15 मा जुन प्रतिबद्धताहरू गर्नुभएको थियो त्यो अनुसार we have the Ministry of Forest and Environment as well as the Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock who are entering and agreeing to move forward with the Save Soil movement. I think that requires a round of applause for all of us. Because it is no longer just a global movement, it is now a home movement. It is a movement for all Nepalis to save soil as we can. On this, I am extremely privileged to request our Honorable Pradeep Yadavji, Minister of Forest and Environment, to please come and say a few words.
धन्यवाद. आज हामी अति नै महत्त्वपूर्ण कार्यक्रममा उपस्थित भएका छौँ. यो महत्त्वपूर्ण कार्यक्रमका प्रमुख अभियन्ता परम आदरणीय सतगुरुप्रति सबभन्दा पहिले म नमन गर्न चाहन्छु, अभिनन्दन गर्न चाहन्छु. सतगुरुले जुन काम सरकारले गर्नुपर्ने काम हो त्यो काम आज दुनियाँमा गएर सतगुरुले गरिराख्नु भएको छ. त्यसको लागि म पुनः आभार व्यक्त गर्न चाहन्छु. म उहाँको अभियान यो सृष्टिलाई बचाउनको निमित्त, मानवलाई बचाउनको निमित्त उहाँले आफ्नो अभियान थाल्नु भएको छ. निश्चित रूपमा दुनियाँबाट एउटा अध्ययनले बताउँछ कि 52% करिब 52% माटो चाहिँ काम लाग्ने छैन. त्यो माटो नष्ट भइसकेको छ. त्यो माटोमा केही उब्जिन सक्दैन र आज 48% मात्र माटो बाँचेको छ. त्यो माटोको बचाउनको निमित्त जुन प्रकारले सतगुरुले अभियान थाल्नु भएको छ त्यो अभियानको साथमा वन तथा वातावरण मन्त्रालय आज खडा भएको छ र उहाँको अभियानमा वन मन्त्रालय साथ अगाडि बढ्नेछ भन्ने म विश्वास दिलाउन चाहन्छु. निश्चित रूपमा जलवायु परिवर्तन लगायतका च्यालेन्जहरू हामी बीच आएको छ. दुनियाँका ठुला शक्तिशाली राष्ट्रमुलुकका कारणले यस्तो स्थिति आएको छ. तर हामी कसैलाई दोष लगाएर भागेर हुँदैन. त्यसकारण यो अभियानमा सतगुरुले जुन प्रकारले माटो बचाउनको निमित्त आज नेपालमा आउनु भएको छ, म खास गरेर वन तथा वातावरण मन्त्रालयको तर्फबाट, नेपाल सरकारको तर्फबाट सतगुरुलाई म यो नेपालको धरतीमा, नेपालको माटोमा हार्दिक स्वागत पनि गर्न चाहन्छु, अभिनन्दन पनि गर्न चाहन्छु. र वन मन्त्रालयले 30,000 किलोमिटर चलेर सतगुरुले मोटरसाइकलको यात्रा गर्नुभएको छ दुनियाँमा. र त्यो यात्राको क्रममा उहाँले धेरै कठिनाइ भएको होला, धेरै चुनौती भएको होला. तर पनि त्यो चुनौतीको सामना गर्दै आज नेपालमा आइपुग्नु भएको छ. र वन मन्त्रालयले त्यो 30,000 किलोमिटर यो माटो बचाउन अभियान अन्तर्गत चल्नुभएका सतगुरुको अभियानको कदमलाई स्वागत गर्दै वन मन्त्रालयले यही हप्ता सतगुरुको नाममा देशको देशको विभिन्न भागमा नदी नाला ताल तलैयाको किनारहरूमा सहरको किनारहरूमा 30,000 सद्गुरुको नाममा रुख रोप्ने छ भने प्रतिबद्ध गराउन चाहन्छु। र आजको उहाँको जुन भाषणको क्रममा कुराहरू आउँछ त्यो सबै कुराको मनन गर्दै वन मन्त्रालयले अक्षरशः पालन गर्छ भने म प्रतिबद्ध पनि जनाउन चाहन्छु। वास्तवमा भन्ने हो भने उहाँको अभियानलाई दुनियाँले कहिले पनि भुल्न सक्दैन। हामी सुन्थे, महाभारत पनि हेरेछु, रामायण पनि हेरेछु, टिभीमा पढेको छु। त्यो बेला चाहिँ जब अत्याचार हुन्थ्यो, कंसको अत्याचार भयो भने कृष्णको जन्म भयो, रावणको अत्याचार भयो भने रामको जन्म भयो। त्यसकारण दुनियाँका केही ठुला ठुला मुलुकहरूका कारण यो दुनियाँमा माटोको जुन सङ्कट आएको बेला आज सद्गुरुको जन्म भएको छ भने महसुस गरेको छु हामीले। त्यसकारण म ज्यादा सद्गुरुको अभियानलाई म मनन गर्दै र उहाँलाई समर्थन गर्दै सेभ सोइल भन्दै म बिदा हुन्छु। धन्यवाद, नमस्कार।
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister, for those wonderful words. As a Nepali, we are very, very proud that Nepal government has committed to plant 30,000 trees in the name of Sadhguru to save soil. I think wonderful. I would like to now request Sadhguru, I'm privileged to request him to come on the stage to share some documents. Now, as part of the Save Soil movement on this historic day, ladies and gentlemen, the government of Nepal will be presenting to Sadhguru the letter of solidarity and thus coming on board the Save Soil movement. I would also like to request Dr. Govind Prasad Sharma, Secretary of the Ministry of Agriculture, to please come on the stage. Also be handing over the Save Soil policy document that has been carefully compiled and is packed with thorough research done by experts in the field of ecology and economy, so that it is not just an environment but it translates into prosperity for the farmers and for the nation in general. I would request the Secretary to please give a token of love to Sadhguru and read the token of love out as well.
Namaskaram. हामीले हाम्रा अति आदरणीय प्रेरणाका स्रोत यो सेफ सोइल इनिसिएटिभ्सका अध्यक्ष आदरणीय स्वामीज्यूमा हामी एउटा र उहाँको यो सोइल सेभ मुभमेन्ट कन्सियस प्लानेटसँग हाम्रो ऐक्यबद्धता जनाएका छौँ। म पढेर सुनाउन चाहन्छु र हाम्रा आदरणीय स्वामीजीलाई यो अर्पण गर्न चाहन्छु। एक्सप्रेसन अफ कमिटमेन्ट एन्ड सोलिडारिटी टु सोइल सेभ मुभमेन्ट कन्सियस प्लानेट सिपी USA, गभर्नमेन्ट अफ नेपाल, मिनिस्ट्री अफ एग्रिकल्चर एन्ड लाइभस्टक डेभलपमेन्ट warmly welcomes Save Soil movement by Conscious Planet and express intent and commitment to be on board for this initiative. This is a timely global initiative by all and for all, beyond all social, political, and geographical boundaries, led by CP to sustain human existence on the planet. Farmers of Nepal inherit knowledge, innovations, practices, and a rich culture of mother soil, the line with living soil since they started cultivating lap of Himalayas. In recent years, with the exposure to modern farming practices, this unique heritage is degrading and nascent soils of Nepal are under threat. In this pretext, Safe Soil Initiative is important to restore and rejuvenate our soils. In this ground, Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development proactively committed to enact new policies, strengthen and implement existing ones, invest, implement program and activity to save soil in Himalayan region. We understand saving Himalayan soil means saving soil and livelihood beyond the boundaries up to the Gangetic Plain. Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock Development is thankful to CP and is our immense pleasure to be a part of this holy soil global initiative. Dr. Govinda Prasad Sharma, Secretary, myself.
In addition, Sadhguru will be handing over the Safe Soil Movement solution of global agricultural land degradation, which was first presented to the United Nations COP15 in the Ivory Coast. It includes a pragmatic three-pronged strategy to increase the organic content in soil to a minimum threshold of 3 to 6% by various levels of incentives to farmers. Let this be a beacon of hope. I would like to now request former Deputy Prime Minister Narayan Kaji Shresthaji to please join us on the stage for a photo. I would also like to request His Excellency Naveen Srivastav, Ambassador of India, to join us on the stage as well. Can we all also lift up the Save Soil flags that were on your chairs? Stand up once. Now let us, everybody. Minister of Law. Can I request the Minister of Law also to please come on the dais for the photo op? Just 1 second. Make some noise for the soil. Come on, let's hear some noise. All right. Let's have some energy. Let's make some noise. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And yes, we are at that moment now, the moment we've been waiting for. May I now invite, humbly and with great privilege, our very special guest of the evening, who has taken the world by storm with his wit, his wisdom, and his incredible commitment to save the planet. May I humbly request Sadhguru to please address us. Thank you.
कालो न जानाति तव जननम् कालो न जानाति तव समापनम् दृष्टो मया तव महाकारः योगेश्वर काल काल योगेश्वर काल काल.
Namaskaram. Namaskaram to everyone. Wow. Nice to be back in Nepal. What? I'm supposed to do the talking, huh? Come on. Is the volume good? Hello? Hello, can you hear me? This is not good, huh? I can't… Hello? Check, check, yeah. I am still not yet born, still more than 24 hours, please. Well, why such a need has come today that we have to even talk about saving soil? Why such a situation has come? Well, humanity has spent a lot of time pointing fingers at each other. You did it, I did it, you did it, I did it endlessly. We need to first of all understand whether you like it or you don't like it, knowingly or unknowingly, every one of us are a part of it, this destruction that's happened. The only way around is that everyone have to become a part of the solution, there is simply no other way. This is not to be done by any one person or any one government or a ministry. This has to become humanity's mission because we are destroying the foundations of our existence, that's what it means. In these cultures, we have always referred to soil as our mother. When we say mother, we are talking about the source of our life. But unfortunately, in the last few decades, we have started treating soil as a resource. Treating soil as a resource, what it means is, every one of us have fed upon the breasts of our mothers. The day we refer to her as a resource, we are finished. She is the source of our life. She cannot be a resource that we use in our lives. But this is exactly what we have done. Even today, nearly 85% of the nations on the planet address soil as an inert substance that they can fix by adding a chemical or taking away a chemical or whatever else. What we need to understand is, soil is the largest living system, not just on this planet but in the known universe. It is the largest living system with trillions of species. The top agricultural scientists or soil scientists in the world are openly admitting that they do not even know 1% of the species of organisms present in the soil. When we don't know 1%, we have no business to mess with it. It's as simple as that. That's how complex a life it is. What does it mean, the soil? See, we must understand this. On this planet at least, all life, whether it is a single-celled creature or us who are supposed to be the most complex and sophisticated creatures on this planet, all of us are essentially made of the same fundamental design. In yoga forever we have been saying anda pindanda is all the same thing, but today the modern science, because unless it comes from the West, it's not science, okay? I want you to know this. So, the modern science is saying there is something called as a constructional theory that if you look at any design on this planet, whether it's a single-celled organism or any other creature or a leaf or a cell in a plant or the human system, the fundamental design is still the same. The complexity and sophistication is multiplying manifold over, but essential design is same. Or in other words, what we call as life on this planet is a part of the carbon cycle that's happening. In this carbon cycle, soil is the most important link in the chain of carbon cycle, and that has worn thin. What is wearing the soil thin means? See, today, as you sit here, over 60% of your very body that you carry is microorganisms. Only 40% are your parental genetics. I saw that little girl in Sofia on the video, and this girl came to me and said, Sadhguru, I want to do save soil, but my mother boo. I said, please tell your mother she's only 20%. Rest is all soil. Only 20% of your genetics your mother, another 20% your father. Fundamentally, life is happening to you because of the foundational life that's happening in the soil. This is the fundamental life. To give you some perspective, scientists say somewhere between 600 to 800 million years ago, you were there? Okay. At that time, one smart algae or a fungi, we don't know which one. It's like, we don't know how many years ago, thousands of years ago, a caveman or a cave woman these days, you can't leave them out. But nowhere there's a reference to a cave woman, because caveman essentially means a crude man who's like that. But it looks like women were always reasonably not so cavey. So, we don't know whether a caveman or a woman discovered the way of how to cook our food using fire, controlling fire within our homes. Oh, that's changed everything about our lives, isn't it? The way we eat and the way we exist. Similarly, one smart algae, fungi, we don't know which one of them came up with this idea of cooking their food using the perpetual energy of the sun. This phenomena of cooking their food using the sun's energy, today we refer to as photosynthesis. Before the phenomena of photosynthesis started, the average oxygen content in our atmosphere was just a shade over 1%. Today it is 21%. It's a little less in this hall, but average is 21%. And even if you're wearing a mask, you're able to breathe because it's 21%. It's not about today we breathing and existing. The very reason that such a complex life could evolve is only because of the oxygen content in the atmosphere. Otherwise, life would have been very rudimentary and simple. So this phenomena of photosynthesis means essentially it is oxygen manufacturing factory on the planet. You all oxygen breathing or carbon dioxide breathing? Tell me, I don't know which kind you are. Oxygen. But in the last 1,000 years, we have removed 85% of photosynthesis on this planet. What's our plan really for ourselves and for future generations? What is our plan? 85% of photosynthesis on the planet has been removed. We call this development. Well, we need many things, that's not the point, but we need to understand without ecological stability on the planet, life will not happen. Our idea, right now everybody is talking about, in 2000 or just after 2000, when I spoke in the United Nations, I told them I have come here to officiate the marriage of ecology and economy, because you guys are thinking these two are competing forces. There is no such thing as ecology versus economy. This is like this, you are living on open land, then you saw the need for shelter, so you built one floor, one nice house for yourself. Then a need came, you had to build the second floor. Then you started pulling out the foundation stones and started building the second floor. You know what will happen to your house. This is exactly what's happening to the world right now. Ecology is the base, economy is on top of it. If you pull out the foundation stones of ecology, there is not going to be any economy. Whatever economies we have built, whatever very perceptional marketplaces we have built can all collapse in no time once there is a little bit of food shortage on the planet. I want you to just imagine, in Kathmandu city, if 40% of the people have not eaten for last 3 days, do you think you can come here and sit in this event? Do you think you can go to your office? Do you think your children can go to school? Do you think anything that you are doing right now would be possible for you? Civilization will collapse. What we have created in 1,000 years, in 3 days' time it'll collapse once there are food shortages. We must understand this is not something new. Whether it's Nepal or India or European nations or East European nations, Central Asia, Arabia, even North America, is not a stranger to famines in the past. Till 40s and 50s, 1950s, we have seen famines. Some of those famines were terrible, which took millions of people. 1943 famine in India took 3.2 billion people in 4 months' time. Famine is the worst way to die for a human being. A war is so much better, either somebody will shoot you or bomb you or take off your head, something will happen. Famine is a slow fade, 3 to 4 months, you will die in a most terrible way. And this is not new to us. 2 generations ago, people have faced this repeatedly, again and again. But after all this infrastructure, after all this education, information, technology, once again we are driving towards famine, global famines. This year, 7 nations are going into famine conditions. This year, 39 million people right now are seriously in famine situation. It is expected in the next 4 months, 360,000 children below 8 years of age will die without food simply because World Food Program has thrown up his hands and said, we are not able to provide food for these children because there is no money, everything has gone to the war effort elsewhere. So, as human beings, how do we just sit around and think that, it's all right, they're dying somewhere else? That is not the nature of a human being. The reason why a human being is evolved to this place is because we can think inclusively. We are not functioning instinctively for our survival. We can think consciously, inclusively, where our sense of well-being is far more inclusive than any other creature on this planet. This is only possible for a human being. You are the only one who is referred to as a being. We don't call a tiger being, an elephant being, ant an ant being, no such thing. Only you are referred to as a being because you're supposed to know how to be. Hey, don't do that. You're supposed to know, I said. I did not say you know. If you knew how to be, if you really knew how to be, would you choose to be blissed out or miserable? What's your choice? Now, see, from now on I'll ask a few questions. You can either say yes, no or silence. All three I will bless. It's up to you. If you had a choice between being blissed out and miserable, what is your choice for yourself? Yes. What you want for your neighbor sometimes may be debatable, but what you want for yourself is 100% clear, isn't it? Highest level of pleasantness. You want highest level of pleasantness for yourself. Why something so simple is not happening? It is not happening because you heard about that potato farmer? No? Oh, let me tell you a story. Once upon a time… Nah. That's not the way. There's a certain way to listen to a story. Once upon a time, Hello? Once upon a time, there was a potato farmer. One day, he wanted to eat apples. What did he want to eat? So he went in search of an apple tree, and then he found an apple tree. Now, he went to the apple tree, but being a potato farmer out of sheer habit, he started digging the ground for apples. He dug. When he did not find any apples there, he dug furiously. After some time, the tree came down on him. This is the story of humanity right now. It is… these things have happened. These things which are fundamental to our existence are being destroyed not because of some evil force. This has happened in search of human well-being, in search of human happiness above all. In pursuit of happiness, we have done this. Now I'm asking you a simple question. Whenever you've been happy or miserable, whichever way you've been, did it happen from within you or did it rain upon you? Whether joy or misery happened from within you, pain and pleasure happened from within you, agony and ecstasy happened from within you. You have never experienced anything outside of yourself. Just look at this. Do you see me right now? Even if you're not listening, do you see me, those of you up there? Where do you see me? Just use one hand, one finger, point out where I am. Ah, you got it wrong. You know I'm a mystic from southern India. Right now, this light is falling upon me, reflecting, going through your lenses, inverted image in the retina. Where do you see me right now? Within yourself. Where do you hear me right now? Within yourself. Where have you seen the whole world? Within yourself. Have you ever experienced anything outside of yourself? So, in search of happiness, if you start digging the world, it's a never-ending digging. So, some people were telling me, it seems there are some 300 planets, just like planet Earth with the same kind of atmosphere and possibility of life. Some of these planets are 10 times larger than planet Earth. So, they want to go there, we must make a mission, unknown planet, whatever. But these planets are approximately 300 million light years away. I said, please, you go, it'll solve many problems. But I want to tell you that if these 8 billion people are given one planet each, as long as they're in pursuit of happiness, they will destroy all the 8 billion planets. They need just some time, that's all. Yes or no? Because what is within you, if you start seeking outside, you will destroy everything. This is all it is. In search of human happiness, this is the consequence we've produced, where the fundamentals of our life is now in a big question. See, how many of you have your own children? You can tell me, it's okay. Now, this is not some philosophy, this is not an ideology, this is not a religion. It is intrinsic within you. You want your children to live better than you. Hello? Huh? But with such a wonderful intention, look at the world we are creating. I want you to understand this. Once there are food shortages, our children are not going to live well here. Whatever wealth you have given them, whatever education you have given them, whatever you have given them, our children are not going to live well here because there are certain serious conditions which are evolving very quickly. By 2032, it's expected 3.5 billion people will be water stressed. That means daily drinking water will be a challenge. You think people can live well with that? By 2045, they're saying 40% less food. This is not alarmist philosophy. These are being spoken by very responsible scientists, and I have been in communication and contact with them. They are all just frustrated because nobody listens to them. And when I was in Rome, and all the top scientists, some of the big, large UN agencies related to soil and agriculture all there, and I was talking to this group of scientists who have invested their life in soil studies. So I told them, see, you must excuse me because I'm starting this campaign, and here you have spent your lifetime studying soil. But I am not only going to make this simple, I'm going to make this simplistic. Is it okay with you? Not you, you're not a scientist. But these scientists in one voice, they said, Sadhguru, simplistic is the way forward, because we have produced thousands and thousands of pages of research. Unfortunately, the governments don't read it, agriculture ministries don't read it, even the academics and universities are not reading it. Because about every aspect they have produced hundreds and thousands of pages. Who is there to read it? Because everybody has taken certain things on the planet for granted. One of that is definitely soil. Just 5 months ago, 6 months ago rather, when the world congregated to talk about climate change and global warming, whole world was there for 2 weeks. Everybody responsible in various governments, everybody was there. But after that, I spoke to many environment ministers in the world. Everybody saying, Sadhguru, nobody even mentioned the word soil. Why is it like this? I said, see, I don't want to get into the politics of it, but I'm asking you, do you really believe you can control climate change, you can control global warming without keeping the soil rich and green? Is it possible? They said, no. Then why you didn't talk about it? This is where it is. Fortunately now, in the last few months, the conversation, soil has become part of the conversation. Many nations are beginning to unroll their own kind of soil policies. The United States has invested $8.5 billion for soil regeneration and no-till farming, which is a phenomenal step for them. And UK has invested some $1.3 billion for their cover crop subsidies. Germany has put in $4.5 billion for their similar kind of soil regeneration process, and EU has unfolded a consultative process to come up with a soil policy, because there are so many nations which need to agree to that. And Caribbean nations have been fully active with us, and Guyana has given us 100 square kilometers of land where they want us to demonstrate how this can be done. That's going to happen. India has dedicated 19 crore rupees for regenerating the soil in 13 river basins across the country, which will amount to 67% of India's land or agricultural land, and that's a huge step for India. China is unfolding their own soil policy.
So, the world is responding, but the important thing is we must understand in a democratic nation, who are the leaders? You are the leaders. So, it's important that you don't think somebody else is going to do it. I want you to understand the simple mechanics of democracy. We elect somebody who is willing to take the trouble of doing all the things. And we give them… in Nepal it's 5 years, is it? 5-year term? You give them 5 years, in many other nations it's 4 years, but from what I understand, Nepal is generally giving 2 years for their leaders. So if you give them 5 years, I want you to understand the nature of this job. You give them 5 years and they are supposed to do many things. Running a nation is always a complex situation. But if you were the Prime Minister of this country or whatever Minister of this country, would you try to do things which will produce results within 5 years, or would you attempt doing things which will produce results in 10, 15 or 20 years? Please tell me honestly. In 5 years. That's exactly what most governments on the planet are doing, because not in a single nation, not even in a single nation has ever 60% of population, adult population has stood up and said, we are concerned about the long-term well-being of this nation. We are concerned about the future of our children. Such a thing has never been expressed. In private they will crib, but they have not expressed. All they ask for is, reduce 5 rupees on my gas price. Okay, that will happen. Give me 1% discount on my income tax, okay, that will happen. But nobody is asking for long-term well-being of the nation. It's time, citizens of any mature nation, stand up and ask for long-term well-being of your country. This is very, very important. If you don't do that, it's not going to happen, because as you yourself admitted, if you were running the government, you would still try to do things within 5 years, not things which will take more than that. So if the governments have to invest in long-term well-being of the nation, it is very important your voice should be up. Your responsibility is not just vote, your responsibility is your voice. And today, fortunately, because of technology and social media platforms, you can sit at home and raise your voice. You don't have to go stand on the street and do this, all right? Not anymore, you can sit at home and raise your voice. You have a phone with you? Yeah, you have a phone with you? Smartphone or a dumb phone? What? Smartphone, okay. You call somebody smart only if they're smarter than you, isn't it? Now, this phone is not just a simple thing for you to send some silly messages. That also you can do, I'm okay with that. But this is a powerhouse. If you have any sense of love and responsibility in your heart, this is a powerhouse sitting at your home. I'm just saying one of you, sitting at your home, if you're really committed, just one of you can reach the entire world. That kind of power you have. That's the instrument you have in your hand, all right? If all of you get together, can anybody stop you? If all of you get together, can anybody stop you? No! First thing you need to understand is this is not a protest, this is not an agitation, this is not expressing our anger and resentment about who did this, who did this. All of us have done it knowingly or unknowingly. We must understand this has happened, and this has happened not as a negative thing, with best intentions this has happened. Because many of us are alive today only because of fertilizers and chemicals. I want you to know this. For those of you who have fancy ideas in your head about organic farming, natural farming, this farming, that farming, I want you to understand, most of us are alive here today only because chemicals and fertilizers. If we take away chemicals and fertilizers today from this world, our food production will come down to 25% of what it is right now, that is death. So, as a generation, We have been able to feed this many people. In the beginning of 20th century, we were just 1.6 billion people. Today, we are inching towards 8 billion. We have been able to feed this many people only because of chemicals and fertilizers. We have crossed famine situations only because of this, but at the same time, we have damaged the soil significantly. Significantly, we have damaged the soil. So our time has come as a generation, we turn back. Turning back is not with fanatical ideas, ban the fertilizer, ban the chemicals, that is not the way. If you raise organic content, the need for fertilizer will start sliding down naturally. We must be patient enough to do that. Fanatical ideas of urban people, I'm saying, it's only urban people who are talking about organic farming, natural farming, because they don't do farming. You go and ask a farmer, try to grow his crops without fertilizer, without pesticide, it'll be zero for him. So, let us not say things which are irresponsible. All of you young people must educate yourself about soil, okay? Wherever you go, at least for 2 to 5 minutes, you must be able to speak with some sense about soil. It's very important because as a generation, we have this challenge in front of us, but as a generation, we have this privilege that we could be that generation which turned back from the brink of a disaster. We don't want to be that generation which walked into the disaster and cry about it. I'm saying this because we have this propensity that we keep walking into disasters and keep crying about it every time. See, when World War I happened, everybody said, this is enough, no more war. We formed League of Nations and da-da-da, no more war. Within 25 years, number 2 happened, all right? And after World War II, when the most horrendous things happened, we said, no more war at all, this is it, United Nations, and we will stop all war. How many wars since 1944? When 21st century came, we said, oh, 20th century people, idiotic people, they fought wars and wars. 21st century is the age of information, technology, we are all… What? What is that, huh? Like this, we're not going to fight wars, love and this and that. In 21st century, how many wars? How many nations have been destroyed in the last 22 years? Just look back and see. Because we need to understand this, we keep crying about the same things and we keep doing the same things. So this is a time for us to stand up and turn this situation around, and it's not some rocket science, nor does it take enormous financial outlays, it just needs the right direction and a relentless commitment. This is all it takes. Let's make it happen. Till I say stop, okay? Till I say stop, all of you, how many are you here? Here and in the adjacent 2 halls, they told me about 6,500 people or something like that, okay? So, all the 6,500 people, those of you who are in the other halls also, make some noise for them, huh, please. You must commit. You must commit that every day, you must commit that every day, just 10 to 12 minutes a day. Use your phone and say something about soil, whatever the hell you know. If you don't know anything, just go into FAO website and look up some facts. If it's too complicated for you, if it's too scientific for you, go into Save Soil website, much more simplistic thing, say something. If you can't say anything, just say save soil, save soil. Because I'm telling you, if we don't do this as a generation, we will regret this seriously. Right now, according to UNFAO, on an average, every year, 27,000 species of organisms are going extinct. So it's a slide. This slide, if it continues, it's estimated somewhere in the next 25 to 40 years, this slide will go into your tumble. Once it goes into your tumble, there's nothing you can do or I can do. There's nothing we will be able to do, we will have to face the consequences. Right now, it's possible to stop this and turn this around. It is not an experiment, Last 27 years, we've manifested this on the ground that over 132,000 farmers in southern India, we've transformed them into what is called as tree-based agriculture. When I explained this to your Prime Minister and coalition partners yesterday, they immediately took the decision, we will send a team to study what's happening there and we want to do it here. So please support these things. Without people's support, this is not going to happen. So will you commit to this every day, 10 to 12 minutes, you must say something about soil. Please make this happen, because in this fabulous mountainous country, you should not suffer from that because you have plenty of land for the people that you have, and this is very rich land. In many ways, this land is just a couple of generations old or 3 generations old agriculture. In India, in southern India, we farmed the same land for over 12,000 years. Same land for 12,000 years, but we maintained the richness of the land. But in the last 45 to 50 years, we've taken it down. 62% of India's land right now is degraded. Average organic content is 0.68% in India. In Africa, across the continent, is 0.3%. This is a disaster. Below 1% is considered serious desertification. Southern Europe is 1.1%. Northern Europe, which is the highest in the world, is 1.48%. But the minimum prescribed by United Nations is 3% is the most minimum. If 3% organic content is not there, species will start dying. What organic content means is, it is a food for all this microbial life, which is the foundation for our life. Within our body and in the soil, in the air, in the atmosphere, these organisms are always working to keep the life on this planet. Without us, they can exist. Without them, we cannot exist. That is the fact of life. In the last 70 years, 67% of vertebrate population on the planet has disappeared. 67%. 82% of the biomass insects have disappeared. 92% of freshwater aquatic life has disappeared. Really, what's our plan? What's our plan for our own lives? Because when we talk about 2030, 2040, 2045, we are not talking about future generations, we're talking about you. Hello? It's just a couple of decades away, where every scientist, without any ambiguity, everybody is saying this is where we are going. And by 2032, it's expected 1.3 billion people will migrate because of food and water shortages. When people move in unplanned ways, forced migrations bring untold suffering to human beings. The worst is taken always by the women and children. When unplanned migrations happen, women and children get the worst of it. You have to see this, what's happening in the southern European border, in many countries, what happens to these African women who land up there is unspeakable. Let's not once again drive humanity in that direction. It is important food grows where people are. It's very, very important. For long-term well-being of any nation, food must grow where people are. A few exotic things, you want to eat a kiwi fruit, you can get it from New Zealand. But basic food must grow in each country where people are. This is very, very important. So I'll leave it to you, if you have any questions, any kind of question, not necessarily about soil. About you, because you're also soil. Hello? Do you get that? You're also soil, walking soil. May you walk for a long time, but let's be walking on a rich soil. Questions? You must raise your hand and wait for the microphone. Oh, you almost broke my heart, man. Please take the microphone, please. Please, please. Hey, you must wait for the microphone. Where is it? Yeah,
Hello.
please. Yes.
Namaskaram.
Where are you?
I'm on this side. Namaste Sadhguru. My name is Malvika Subha. The question that I wanted to ask you, it is an honor and a pleasure to have you here today. The one thing that has been really going on my mind, I apologize if it might sound very political. I belong to an indigenous community, which is the Kirati community, which has the longest history, especially for Nepal. Now we can understand there has been so much of oppression, land encroachment, so much of domination, so much of land has been taken away from the indigenous community in the name of development. When we talk about safe soil and saving the soil, I'm hoping and I'm requesting you, when you're talking to global leaders, and especially as हाम्रो माननीय वन मन्त्रालयज्यूबाट मन्त्रीज्यू पनि आज यहाँ हुनुहुन्छ, कतिजना जनजाति आदिवासी जनजातिका आफ्नो जुन उहाँहरूले पाउनुहुने. So what I'm trying to say is, I apologize, I'm being very emotional about it. I wish that you would definitely talk about these issues for the indigenous people, but as you know that is their nature lovers and soil is where their home is. Thank you so much, Sadhguru. And if you don't mind, I have with me one of our symbols from the Kirati religion, which is Silam Sakma, which basically means is helping us ward off from the evil eye, from death. If I could present it to you, that would be my honor.
We'll do that. So, Malvika, it is true across the world, this is a reality, that the lands held by indigenous communities is being slowly shrinking and shrinking everywhere. Well, we can point fingers, but it is a reality that we cannot ignore. As you may know that in 2020, I traveled across 17 Native American nations within United States, which most people don't know of. I knew that there are nations. I thought there must be about 35 to 40 nations. When I really started researching and I was making this travel, I discovered there are over 500 nations within United States, Native American indigenous nations. They have their own languages, they have their own religion, they have their own culture, 500 unique nations of their own. So can we really bring them back once again into existence? There are some laws which says yes, but practically can we ever do that? I don't think there is a reality like that. So, the important thing is, this is true, I don't know, I'm not conversant with the realities of Nepal, but this is true across the world. This is true even in India. Tribal lands are always being taken for something or the other, because people are piling up in cities, they want so many things, they want a home, they want to drive a car, they want their computer, they want their phone, they want their everything, all the comforts. To provide all these comforts, somewhere we have to be digging all the time. And if large tracts of land are held by anybody, whether you're indigenous or you're alien, it doesn't matter, those guys are going to dig it up, unfortunately. I'm not trying to condone that, but this is an unfortunate reality on the planet. Because as I said earlier, from 1.6 billion in the beginning of 20th century, in just 120 years, we have come to 8 billion. How do you provide things for 8 billion people? And how much we are consuming? Just look at anything, yourself. Your grandmother, how many pieces of clothing she owned? How many you own? If you look at it, probably 25 to 50 times more you own, yes or no? So, our needs and our aspirations have gone through the ceiling and we are still talking about saving this, saving that. It's very, very difficult. It is very important, either we… as I said earlier, if you are joyful by your own nature, whether you had 1 or 10 or 100, you would do it according to what is available. But right now, when your happiness depends on what you wear, what you eat, where you live and what you do and what you possess, you cannot stop human aspiration. Right now, human societies are still in this condition. They need so many things for fulfilling their happiness, their children's happiness, their well-being, because they have set a certain image what is well-being. On an average, what an average American citizen owns, if the same has to be provided, because I know a lot of youth from here want to go to either United States or wherever else they can go in the Western world, I'm just telling you, to make sure that 8 billion people have the same things that an average American person has, the Living Earth statistics says we need 4.5 planets for that. But we have only half a planet left. So where? Where do we dig? So I must tell you this, right now this information is declassified. It seems some 32 or 35 years ago, NASA was planning to take a nuclear weapon, okay? A nuclear bomb of some enormous tonnage, megatonnage, and take it to the moon and put a hole to the core of the moon and blast it there, because there it seems there is some metal which is 100 times lighter than steel and at least 50 to 60 times stronger than steel. So we are glad that still moon is still there. Okay? I'm saying human needs are such, we won't leave anything. So either we must reduce our aspiration or we must reduce our population. One of these things we must do. Hello? So as a part of this in India, it's the most unpopular thing I did in my life, I started what is called as no conception years in some villages, that women choose by themselves, this year no conception, postpone it to next year. By next year you may be much wiser, who knows, hoping. And I also said, I will institute an award for women who are healthy, who can bear children but choose not to bear children. We will institute an award for them. So, today a whole lot of us, in Isha for example, there are about 270 young couples who are capable of bearing children and none of them have children, because right now the greatest service you can do to the world is you are part of reducing the population. So there are people running campaigns against me saying he's a depopulation gang, he wants to kill everybody. We don't want to kill anybody, but as human beings we are wonderful, but we are too many, we need to understand this. Hello? Once you come here as a human being, you're supposed to do everything consciously. You cover your body consciously, you eat consciously, you also reproduce consciously. If possible, you also die consciously one day. That is the goal of being human. So, this whole thing, this has gone into the lingo of every… especially in India and Nepal, that you have a child and you say, God. You know it's not God, all right? Please don't go there, okay? So it's very, very important that either a human aspiration you should control, which there is no chance of control unless they become spiritually enriched within themselves and they are joyful by their own nature, then they will do only what is needed, no desperate activity. If that happens, fantastic. Or human population must come down, because by 2050 it is expected we will be 9.78 billion people. I'm telling you, at nearly 10 billion population, nobody will live well on this planet, nobody. Doesn't matter what education, money, wealth, where you are, in which part of the world you are, nobody will live well when this crosses 10 billion people. So scientists, very responsible conservative scientists are saying, if right now if we don't make the corrections, by 2060 to 2075, in these 15 years, 20% of the human population may die, because one thing is weak soil means weak body, you become susceptible to all kinds of ailments and you will die out of that, or because of lack of water and food, because food shortages and water shortages will happen. What climate change means is, none of the elements, water, soil, this, that is not going anywhere. It's all misplaced, that's all. Where it should not be, it is, where it should be, it is not. So when that happens, they're saying that. Some of the more radical people in the among the scientific community are saying between 2060 to 2075, 60% of the global population could die because of disasters, because of hunger, because of water shortages and civil unrest. Once there is food shortages, there will be civil unrest which will be uncontrollable. I want, especially all the women, you must take this up because as women, this is the best time you ever had in the history of humanity. Yes or no? It's never been this good for women. But this is only possible when there is a civilized atmosphere. Once there is strife on the street, again woman goes back 10,000 years. Hello? Yes or no? So it's especially in the interest of the woman that you must take it up in a big way. The Save Soil movement and whatever else, because also reproduction is in your hands. If it's already done, we'll celebrate the children. But if not yet, postpone to the next generation. People will say, but what about the economy? Economy will go down. If the population goes down and economy goes down with it, what's the problem? We'll still live better. So, about the indigenous people, unfortunate reality is that because in many ways, most of them or large parts of them have also moved into cities and their aspirations and… because modern education has infiltrated everybody's mind. Modern education means it will breed endless want in your mind, you know. Once you're educated, you are always… I was in the World Economic Forum. I've been there many years, but in 2008 when I was there, a kind of a certain sense of recession was just hitting the Western world. Well, the Indians were running a campaign, India everywhere in Switzerland and all over the place, the bus hoardings, big hoardings out there in the trains, wherever you get in India, everywhere. So Indians were upbeat because they're running a campaign, but all the Western people are little depressed because recession is happening. And these are all, about 12 to 13,000 people, every one of them is a billionaire, okay? They are all miserable because there are a few billions less and they're really miserable, what to do? And then they asked me to handle a session, recession and depression. I said, okay. I said, see, recession is bad enough, but if you want to be depressed, what can we do? But right now, we have structured the economic engine on this planet in such a way that if you fail, you will be depressed. If you succeed, we will be damned. I prefer that you're depressed. Otherwise, we will all be damned. If economy goes full steam across the world, really full steam across the world, in another 25, 30 years, we will cause such damage to this planet, there'll be no way out. Recession is good, little less. All that… as long as people are eating, if they have no money to buy new clothes, I'm okay with it. They have no money to buy cars, new cars or motorcycles, I'm okay with it. They had to walk to their office instead of driving, I'm okay with it. As long as people are well-nourished, I'm okay with everything else. Because right now, nourishment is fundamental. If that is not there, then it's a serious concern. As long as that is there, that is fine. Right now when she talks about indigenous life, that's all they're talking about. We want to just live well-nourished, happy by our own means. If we are fit enough to survive, we survive. If you're not fit enough, we die. No, today they won't let you die even if you're not fit enough to live. Hello? because that is also a big business. We can't let you die. Hello? You should not die, because it's a lot of business. They're telling me that in United States, out of 3.5 or 3.3 trillion dollars that they're spending on healthcare, nearly 60% of it spent in the last 32 days of one's life. That is, about $2.5 billion are spent in the last 32 days. What is the problem if you and me die 32 days early? At least for me, I have no problem. Maybe you want to last those very expensive 32 days. I don't want to spend so much, I don't mind dying 32 days early. Hello? I bless you with a long life, but I'm saying we have become like this because we have lost context with what is the nature of our life. We've just forgotten what we are in this world. See, in this cosmos where nobody knows, neither the science nor the religious people know where this cosmos begins and where it ends. Hello? Does anybody know? Science does not know, religion does not know, because nobody knows, it's that vast. In this cosmos, this solar system itself is a tiny speck. In that speck, planet Earth is a micro speck. In that micro speck, Nepal is a super micro speck. In that, you're a big man. This is a very serious problem. This is a very serious problem. We don't understand that we just occupy a minuscule of time and space on this planet, both in terms of time and space, it's just a minuscule. We come and we go. Countless number of people have walked this planet, they also thought they are great people. Where are they? All topsoil. Hello? Yes or no? This also will be topsoil. Yes, we don't want to die today, that's fine, but this is a brief life. In this, how much mess? How much mess? Simply because we are forgetting the context of our existence. First of all, most human beings are not conscious that we are a mortal life. They think they are here forever. None of us are here forever. Hello? This one also will become part of the soil or no? Save soil, that's why I'm saying, huh? Otherwise, where the hell, if you put you there, if there's no organisms, you won't even rot. That's the problem I'm talking about. In life and death, it's a problem. This happened in Texas. I know it's about indigenous people, I will come back to you, I've not forgotten. This happened in Texas because that's far away from anything indigenous. You are all from Texas? Can I say a joke about you? So, there was a couple in Texas, young couple, and they had a dream. They want to go to the Holy Land, to Jerusalem. They wanted to go to Holy Land, but they got married, so honeymoon happened and they couldn't go. Then one child happened, they could not go because the child was young and child was toddler, da-da-da. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 happened. Then children went to school, so they could not go. Then children graduated, so they could not go. Then children went to college, so they could not go. Then, like all of you have been to Kailash, postponing, right? Just like that. So, then children got married, they could not go. Then grandchildren came, they were so cute, so they could not go. Then finally, when they were over 75 years of age, they got an opportunity to go to the Holy Land. They went to Jerusalem. And they were completely overwhelmed because they've been looking forward to this for so many years. Jerusalem is a place where every cobblestone bleeds history, all kinds of stories are there. So they walked in that street where Jesus is supposed to have walked. They walked they went to the place where he's supposed to have walked upon water. They were completely overwhelmed. But unfortunately, the lady had a heart attack and she died. That happens, you know. Then the man was preparing to take her body back to Texas. Then the local people came and they said, see, your wife has done the right thing. She came to Holy Land and she died. This is the best thing a religious person can do. You don't bother about taking her back because first of all, carrying the body back to Texas costs $18,000 on the airplane, plus local charges there, it's all too much. Because you're so distressed, over 40 years of marriage and you've lost your wife, so we will do all the rituals for you, just for you. Very high discount, $16,000, let's do it. The man thought about it and then he said, no, I will take her back to Texas. Then they said, see, you're not able to think straight, you know, you lost your wife and you're distressed, we understand. So we'll give you a super discount, $12,000, let's do it. You know, this is a haggling place. The man thought about it and he said, no, I will take her back to Texas. Then they said, why? See, oh, we can understand how distressed you are, you know. Having lost your wife for 45 years, it must be really… you can't even think straight. It's all right. We will give you an absolute below the price discount, $6,000, let's do it, let's do it, let's do it. The man thought about it and he said, no, I will take her back to Texas. Then they threw up their hands and said, what is this about? We've given you all the discount that anybody can give you, why are you saying you'll take her back to Texas? So he said, in Texas, dead stay dead. So, everything goes back into soil, into the topsoil, unless your friends fear that you may raise from the dead and bury you real deep, all right? You need to know this every time you step out. You need to know this. Who you are is just a pop-up from the soil and you will pop back anytime, all right? I'll bless you with a long life, but you will die one day. Is that okay? Hello? So, the indigenous people of the world, all of us were indigenous at some time. We have all been whatever, and today we consider ourselves as citizens of a modern nation or a city or whatever. So the indigenous people also must organize themselves, not go on crying about what is gone, preserving the culture and the valuable part of your culture so that it perpetuates into future, but preserving individual lands, indigenous lands and indigenous nations as it was in the past. I am not saying it should not be done, I am not against it, but it will not be done. I know the politics of this world, I know the economics of this world, it will not be done. So the best thing is to organize yourself in such a way, culturally, you maintain that richness and bring that… See, right now indigenous populations in the world have taken this, people are appropriating our culture. When I was in the Native American nations, everybody is saying, they're appropriating our culture, they're taking our clothing, our jewelry, our this. I said, what is the problem? I want everybody to appropriate my Indian culture. If everybody wears Indian clothes, speaks Indian languages in the world, what is my problem? Let them appropriate it. I'm saying you can either call it appropriation or you can call it that you have converted them to your culture, isn't it? It's time we do this because the only way you can preserve anything is that there should be no need to preserve it, it must be a living culture. If you don't make it a living culture, preservation will naturally push you to archives, museums. You should not… indigenous people should not go into museums. Your culture, your traditions, your clothing, your jewelry and many arts and crafts must live in common societies. Otherwise, it will not live for very long. You can protect it for some time, but beyond that you cannot protect it.
Namaskaram, Sadhguru. Namaskaram, Sadhguru. I am Srijana from Nepal. You had spoken about… you have mentioned about Linga Bhairavi consecration happening in Nepal next year. Can you please speak more on Linga Bhairavi and consecration?
We… oh. This is a vested interest question. Women want to become goddesses, what to do? Not just in their homes, in the very nation they want to become goddesses. That'll be wonderful. Well, you must understand this, across the world, without exception, every culture had the culture of divine feminine worship, every culture. But in the last 1,000 years or 1,200 to 1,300 years, this has been systematically uprooted all over the world because very you know I'm not against the men, I'm a man, all right? So, very masculine, powerful, conquering kind of religions where divine feminine was a problem and they uprooted everything. Anywhere you go to Arabia, you go to Europe, you go to Eastern Europe, Central Asia, Africa, South America, North America, everywhere there are ancient figurines of divine feminine in their own forms. Because no sensible human being who makes an image of God in the form of a human being can completely eliminate the female. Hello? What were they born to, I don't know. But unfortunately that's happened. God means okay, there's a man up there. So, this is the only culture, this subcontinent is the only place where it's still in a strong living force. There is not a single village in India without a Mariamman or a Mari or a Kali or a Bhairavi or something like this. I'm sure it's the same here, Kali and other things in Nepal also, because this is very important. There are many other spiritual aspects to it, but socially it's very important that, as I said earlier, see, men and women can live together in a sensible way only when there is a stable civilization. When there is a war, when there is strife, when there is violence, women will sink because that is the nature of their biology. It'll not work for them. So, to keep societies in that condition, it was very important that even if things go out of hand, that women are left out of those things. So, divine feminine was very, very important. Devi temples always protected women and they were looked up to, and this is a culture where a living girl is being worshipped as a goddess, all right? So, there are other aspects to it, but I want you to just look at the social significance of this. Oh, is it necessary to trap that girl there and do puja to her? Well, you can change that form of how you do things, but the important thing is you're looking at a female person, maybe a child, but you're looking at her as a goddess. This is important. Socially, this is very important. Because in the recorded history, if you look back, most cultures in the world have done most terrible things to their own women. The women that you have to live with, you do terrible things to them. I don't know how you manage to live with them after that. How do you do that? So, Bhairavi is a powerful energy form, it is a feminine form. What these deities mean is, maybe I don't know if still these words exist in Nepal, but in southern India, even today we refer to our deities as yantras. The word yantra literally means a machine or a device. So this is the only culture which is conscious that we made our gods. Everywhere else, people believe gods made them. But here we know we made our gods. We know the technology of God-making. What technology of God-making means is, when I refer to Devi or Dhyanalinga as a tool, many of our own people get very offended, Sadhguru, Devi is everything for us, you can't call Devi as a tool. I said, we'll do one thing. You come to the yoga center, I'll give you a plumbing job, maintenance, plumbing maintenance in the yoga center, but no tools. With your hands, you do plumbing, your skin will go away in the very first day. And then you can use your teeth, they will all go. By third day, you will be in a condition, if I give you a wrench, you will… Hello? Will you or will you not? Because human life is what it is on this planet only because of our ability to use tools, isn't it? Otherwise we would be nothing. So, these are tools. As there are physical machines to enhance our activity, every machine that we have created, we have only created them to enhance the faculties that we already possess. Say, because we can walk, we came up with a bicycle to go faster. Suppose you were made like a tree, rooted to one place, would you have invented a bicycle? Because we can talk, we have a microphone, we have a telephone. If we could not speak, there was no speech in our life, would we come up with a microphone? For what? So everything that we have done in the form of technology and tools and machines is just an enhancement of the faculties that we already possess. So in the same direction, we evolved powerful tools to be able to do something that we are not able to do with our own bodies. Right now, can you run as fast as an automobile? You're here today because of your automobile. Hello? Some people are screaming, Sadhguru, we love you, love you. No, no. It's the gas and the automobile which brought you here, all right? Because without that tool, you wouldn't do most of the things that you're doing in your life. Similarly, there are other tools which are not physical in nature. We can create very complex energetic tools which generally were referred to as yantras. Yantra literally means a machine, okay? So, there are many examples. I am a living example of this, completely uneducated, just playing through my life. But everybody thinks I know everything in the universe. It's not true, I know nothing. It's just that there are tools. See, if you take binoculars and look there and say, oh, I see an elephant on the hill, and not you, I was just talking about the hill. Others see, no elephant, I can't see, but I can see an elephant. Suddenly you're better, isn't it? Simply because you can see something that others cannot see. If you can hear, smell, taste, touch, things that everybody else cannot do, suddenly it's an enhanced life. So this is what the deities are about. They are not… This is a culture, this is a godless culture, this is a very dangerous thing to tell you, but I want you to understand this is a godless culture. All the people that you worship are people who one time walked this geography. They went through trials and tribulations that all of you are going through and much more drama than you can imagine in your life. But no matter what drama happened, they remained above it. The freedom that they exhibited from all the drama that's happening around them, for that we bow down, because the only value we had in this culture is mukti or moksha, which means liberation and freedom. Freedom is the highest value. We are not planning to go to heaven, we want to become free from heaven also. Hello? That is the basis of this culture. So, Linga Bhairavi is a powerful feminine form that many who have been touched by her will vouch oh, Sadhguru is nothing, Bhairavi is everything. So, I'm glad it's like that, because if you create something which is larger than yourself, that is the best thing you can do. And because these are… see, a human being can't just fly off like this. Somebody builds an airplane, suddenly you think now to buy a ticket and go, you're not understanding the whole thing. You don't know what it takes to make an aluminum can to fly. Hello? It's just an aluminum can. But it flies and takes you from nation to nation all over the world. So that's not a small thing. Only because that device is built, suddenly such a thing is possible, isn't it? Similarly this, but there have been many examples who have touched profound layers of knowing, profound sense of knowledge, profound and incredible capabilities in their life, simply because they found an energetic tool like this. One great example that everybody knows about today is Ramanujam. You heard of Ramanujam, the mathematician? So, he comes from Tamil Nadu and just barely educated, and he became famous because he went to England. You have to get endorsement from there, otherwise they would have burnt his books probably. So he sat down and started pouring out mathematics, simply. Math started pouring out of him. Even he could not explain some of the things, but nobody could find fault with it because it was all progressing the way it should. What he created in 1910, that is a little over a century ago, the formulas that he wrote, today they are saying they are describing the structure of the black holes, they're defining the black holes. The way science progresses normally is first a concept, then a theory, then a law, then mathematics. But here in 1910 there was no concept of a black hole, but he created mathematics for a black hole. Still there is a lot, books and books of Ramanujam's mathematics that nobody has figured out what it is trying to say. When they asked him, he suffered from tuberculosis when he was in London because of the horrible treatment that he got there, and he was sitting literally on his deathbed and simply pouring out mathematics. They asked him, where does this come from? From where are you writing all this? He said, my Devi bleeds mathematics. So if you find access to certain dimensions of… I don't have to say this much, in Nepal still it's a devout society, still strongly, but you must understand the value of this culture is not absolutism. The value of this culture is seeking. We are not ever… there are no commandments in this culture. It is a constant seeking, constant debate about everything. Even if so-called divine entities came down, all they got was a debate from us. They could not give us a commandment. When Shiva Adiyogi, Shiva was here, his wife freaked him with 1,000 questions. When Krishna spoke to Arjuna, the only person who was so close to him, that guy asked hundreds of questions. Hello? So, in this culture, there are no commandments because there is no absolutism. There is no such thing as this. Okay, this is a man, this is a woman, that is a god, this is a devil, there is no such thing. You can grow into your divine nature. That is what this culture is about. If you transcend the limitations which rule a basic human being, then people start looking at you as a divine possibility. It is very appropriate, for example, in India, certain media and people also saying Sachin Tendulkar is a cricketing god. It's right, because if somebody excels beyond what we consider as normal, we say he is divine, he is blessed. So, in this direction, Bhairavi Devi is a powerful form and a tool. We would like you to make use of this. I think 7th of March is the date fixed for consecration. Because the temple premises was a wonderful lady here. It was her home. She gave away her home for Devi, and temple is going to come there. Because the temple premises is small, we will have another Devi celebration somewhere else for a larger group of people, because too many people won't fit in there. Somewhere around the same day, maybe 7th or 8th or whatever, we'll fix the dates. So please make use of it. I want you to approach the divine as… no. I want you to approach the divine as not something that descended from heaven, but as a ladder that you can climb up to. It's a higher possibility of who you are. Please. Anybody, please take the microphone. Hey, only girls are getting the microphone, what's happening here? I think I spoke too much about the divine feminine.
Namaskaram, Sadhguru. My name is Shrishti. First of all, I want to thank you so much for all the work that you do in creating an eco-friendly world.
Question.
Okay, sorry. Okay, my question is, what message would you like to give to the youths and the people of Nepal in how we can contribute with the Safe Soil movement, and also how to live more eco-friendly and more sustainable way? That's all. Thank you.
So, who is youth? Me or you? So in my understanding, anybody who is fit enough to be alive is youthful enough. Hello? If there was no zest in life, they would be gone. They're still here means they're youthful. So we have separated human beings in so many ways. Race, religion, caste, creed, gender, this, that. Now don't use age numbers as a way of separating people. Because are you Generation Z or something? No, you're not Z. Okay, that's good. Because whenever people say Gen Z, I get scared because that sounds like the last generation on the planet. Don't be Gen Z, let's start AB something, huh? Or let's start a number. Number is limitless. Gen Z is not a good name to take on. So what can we do? See, everybody would like to do some token thing. You would like to go and fix your kitchen garden. Very cute, but it's not a solution. You would like to compost your vegetable waste. How much vegetable waste? 500 grams per day. Very cute, but not a solution. So like this, many small things we can do. You please do those small things, I won't talk about it. But that's not a solution. Right now, the solution that we want as quickly as possible is, we want this enshrined in the policies of the government. Why it should happen is, see right now, if you go to the old part, I won't say, in any city, if you go to the old part of a city, homes will be built in such a way, there is no concept of a window, wall to wall, they've built homes. Why did such a thing happen? Because there were no laws as to how to build a home. Whichever way they could, every piece of land that they had, they built it up. Today, if you want to build a home, there are some laws. If you have 10,000 square feet of land, you can't build 10,000 square feet. Something you can build, something you have to give way for others and space for you to breathe and your neighbor to breathe, all this. But if you own 100 acres of agricultural land, you can plow every inch of it. In 10, 15, 20 years, you can turn it into a desert. Nobody will ask you, why have you done this? Because there are no laws. We are asking for laws. If you own agricultural land, it's your business to keep it alive. If you want to keep it alive, minimum 3 to 6% organic content should be there. If you cannot keep it alive, you should not hold agricultural lands. So this cannot be done by force, it can only be done by incentives, by incentivizing the farmer to raise the organic content. Because farmer's economy is in such a condition, if you shake it, it'll collapse. Farmer's economy across the world is in this condition. If you touch it too hard, it will collapse. The highest number of suicides across the world among any given profession is among the farmers. So if this has to change, they need to be incentivized to raise this. So right now, you can do whatever little things you want to do, but don't make big fuss about you composting a little bit of vegetable waste or fixing your kitchen garden, or you switched off the lights when you don't need it. All this is great, you do it, but it will not be a solution till there is a proper government policy to protect the agricultural lands on this planet. So right now the important thing is to keep your voice up. I think we should close. I see all of you getting sleepy. Just one more question, we'll stop, okay? I get the boys to ask a question, gender parity.
Namaskaram. Namaskaram, Sadhguru.
Who is that?
Namaskaram. It's me here.
Yeah, please.
First of all, it's my pleasure to be here, very happy. My question is, sort of nervously a bit, sorry about that. So,
girls, take the microphone.
No. My question is, I mean, I'm a happy man in my life. I'm doing fine. But I want to know what it feels like being you, because you're an enlightened master. And what's the way for us to get there? What's the way for us to get there? Is there any prescription that you could give us and we could try to, implement in our lives so that we can be like you?
Within this hall, I'm not able to figure out which is south. Which is south here, this one? South is this way, huh? Really? I think it's here, probably somewhere here. Okay? Anyway, if open your phone, fix the south, just keep walking till you hit Ishoika Center. Rest we will see. Because these are big things you're saying, you want to be enlightened, then we want to see how committed you are, first of all. Because you must understand this, nothing worthwhile in your life will ever come to you unless you have some relentless commitment towards it. Whether it is education, business, politics, spirituality, whatever, if you don't have a relentless sense of commitment to it, it's not going to happen. If you're thinking, I will do what is comfortable, you will be comfortable, but nothing significant will happen. If anything significant has to happen to your life, you must choose which way. Right now, because you said what you said, I'm saying south is the way for you that you must show that commitment, otherwise nothing will yield. When you show that commitment, this is not big problem. As I told you, the whole process is about human evolution. Will we allow it to nature's device to do it slowly, or will we take it into our hands and do it upon ourselves that will evolve quickly in this life? This is a choice that you have. You must exercise this choice, because once you're human, it's your privilege to do everything with yourself consciously. This is why Save Soil is also under the banner of Conscious Planet, because without conscious human beings, our very intelligence and capabilities have become a serious problem to the world. Right now, what human beings are suffering is just their own intelligence. If you take away half their brain, everybody will sit peacefully. Yes, what are they suffering? They call it stress, anxiety, this one, that one. It seems there are 72 different varieties of psychological ailments. I was talking to some top psychiatrists from United Kingdom, and they said there are 72 varieties. I said, really? 72 ways of going mad? How's this? Then they were explaining what are they, and one of them really struck a chord with me. It seems one of the psychiatric problems is compulsive nose-picking. I don't think Nepalese can do very good job with nose-picking. You know, Indians have a little bigger thing to poke till a point where it's bleeding, they keep on picking, they can't stop it. So I'm saying, you can make anything into your problem in your life, or you can make everything a solution in your life. This is a choice that we have. So, whatever kind of suffering you're having, I want you to understand the basis of your suffering is you do not know how to hold your own intelligence. You're poking yourself all the time. If you had half the brain, if you had the brain of an earthworm, at least you would be eco-friendly. Now this big brain, we should be a solution for every life, but unfortunately we become a problem for every life, including our own. This is because your education systems are always talking about how to conquer the world. How to take charge of this one? There is nothing about it. There's simply nothing about it. If you don't take charge of your own faculties, if your own faculties start working against you, can you ever be well, I'm asking you? If your thought, your emotion… let's look at it this way. Let's say suddenly these two fingers start poking your eyeballs. What to do? If you have a friend beside you, if you have somebody who cares for you, they will hold your hand and say, don't poke your eyeballs. But if it becomes uncontrollable, they will tie it with a rope to the chair in which you're sitting. If it still doesn't work, they'll take you to your doctor and do something else. Still doesn't work, they may have your hand amputated just to save you. Hello? But this is exactly what you're doing right now. The sharpness of your intelligence is what is poking you all the time. So, I'll ask you a simple question. Do you want your intelligence to be sharp or dull? See, if you have a sharp knife in your hand, you must know how to hold it. If you are like this, intestines will come out, hello? If you hold something very sharp in your hand, you must know how to hold it, isn't it? If you're not conscious, this knife becomes very dangerous. That's all that's happened to human beings. Your own intelligence has become a curse. Intelligence, is it a problem or is it the only solution we have? It is the only solution we have, but we turn the only solution into a problem because we are not conscious. Without creating a conscious human being, there is no conscious planet. Without creating a conscious planet, there is no solution for anything because we are capable of making everything into a problem. So let's create a conscious planet, let's make it happen. Thank you very much. There is a Save Soil anthem. Where is the anthem? Le 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 la la le 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 la la le 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 la la le 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 la le 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 la 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 le 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 Save Soil la la le 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 la la le 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 la la le 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 Hello? Can you hear me? Hello? Yeah. Looking at… Wait. Looking at… Just 1 second, please. Just 1 second. Hello. Shh. 1 second, man. Hello. Hello, can you hear me? Looking at the amount of youth energy that Nepal has, I'm just thinking if this… See, the best thing about the Asian nations right now is we have this demographic dividend of young people being majority of the population. But this is only an advantage if we have very focused, intense and disciplined youth. If they are not focused, not intense, not disciplined, they are doped down. I don't use the word doped up, they're doped down. Then they are a huge liability for a generation. So as a part of this, as I look at you, I'm just thinking, there was no plan. As I look at you, I'm thinking, if we bring physically Project Samskriti to Nepal, are you all there? It takes discipline and intensity to do this. So, all those who want to, I don't know what… there must have been some registration number, right? Use the same number and express your desire that if you are willing to spend either 1 month or 3 months or 6 months or 6 years or 12 years, what you are willing to spend for these disciplines to make it a part of your life. If you express that, we will see how to facilitate this, okay? Thank you very much.
La 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 la.